Hey there, how's it going? This is Jim Woods. I am at the beach, perhaps no surprise. It is currently after sunset, but I did catch the sunset today and it was beautiful. I've been working on multiple different topics that I'm quite excited to cover. Everything from multiple episodes on the mind, consciousness, some frameworks we can explore and play with. Also have some episodes on sex and sexuality, some other ideas about sociological frameworks. So I have many things I'm working for. I have many episodes planned. I was on the beach and just kind of wanted to riff quickly. So this is going to be a real short one, just my current thoughts. So I made it back down here for sunset, and I was thinking how much time I spend on this beach. I come down here almost every single day. I'm very fortunate. I bike down for sunset, and then I'll walk the beach for at least an hour after sunset, after dark. There's not too many other people out there at that time. And so I was thinking, wow, I may spend more time on this beach, this beautiful beach, than anyone else. It's totally free and accessible. And then I was like, I own this beach. That idea flashed across my mind. Extremely egotistical, extremely human. I think it's extremely emblematic of humanity's possession of nature. The fact that I even could possess something like the beach. The answer is clearly no, in many ways. I do think that thought is interesting and reflects how destructively detached we as a species, as humans, have become from nature. As we look around ourselves right now, everything we touch, everything we live in many ways, there's nothing purely natural untouched around us. Everything is made by our society. Everything came from nature. It's been mined, processed, produced, transported, built, assembled, deconstructed, demolished, trashed, ultimately dumped. We as humans have consumed every practical aspect of this planet. We've extracted all of its resources, which we've simply discarded without regard. So, after a brief thought, I realized, no, I do not own this beach. The answer is obviously no. But then what dawned on me is that the beach owns me. I come here every day. The beach possesses me. I am the beach. I'm the beach just as much as the sand, as the ocean, as the birds, as the sun. I am the beach just in the way that I am all of nature. I am but just a collection of experiences, reflecting the universe. I am literally the universe, experienced in itself as consciousness. And in this most fundamentally critical way, we are all the same. We are all manifestations of the greatest miracle in this entire universe, consciousness. Amid infinite space and unimaginably long time, with entropy inevitably leading to the silent, diffused chaos throughout the universe. Through the laws of attraction, both quantum and massive, complexity arises. Complexity arises in our universe. First as simple matter, which eventually form godly-like stars, which creates heavy matter through violent fusion. The heavy matter attracts to each other and forms planets, which forms life, which creates consciousness. We are all and each the universe's finest creation. We are all conscious. We are all humans with minds. And we are vastly more similar than we are different. And the differences and specializations between us give us strength and resilience as a species. As humans, there is tremendous common ground to find among all of us. And we now have the technology to make that happen, to make a better society. I wanted to introduce a little concept that I call action-oriented ethics. It's a little twist on the is-ought distinction, which, if you haven't heard about it, it's not worth any more than we're going to discuss here. It's something philosophers like to argue about. I mean, it's actually quite useful, but I'll give you the short and dirty right here. Effectively is that you can never get an ought statement from simply a string of is statements. So an is statement is an objective statement about the world. There's no combination of is statements that could ever produce an ought statement. An ought statement being something that should be done. By saying should, it implies a value set. There's some inherent implied value set, some set of preferences based on that should. In a world that is finite in a world with trade-offs. Actions imply values. More critically, given an action, an ought is necessarily implied by the trade-off preferences expressed by that action. Our values are the output of our actions, not the other way around. Philosophers may argue, they've realized, there is no universal ethic, but there is a real ethic, an ethic that is created through our actions. And given we control our actions, we are accountable for our actions. We can and should acknowledge. I shouldn't say should. We can acknowledge there are many forces beyond our control. In fact, the only things we can control are our own actions and decisions. Implicit in the privilege of choice comes responsibility. You cannot avoid responsibility. By merely acting, and to be clear, doing nothing is an action. By merely acting, you imply some set of values, morals, preferences. And this is our innate responsibility as conscious beings. It's the burden that comes with the gift. The gift of choice, the gift of freedom, comes with the burden of accountability, a responsibility we all bear. So I ask you, every one of us, including me, what values do our actions represent? Who are we based on a reflection of what we do? We are not our fantasies or our aspirations. We are our actions. Too often, rather than solving the biggest problems, working at the highest levels, where we have the most agreement, too often we focus on conflict and on the issues that divide us. Or worse, we seek blissful ignorance with a mix of apathy, helplessness, and victimhood. We are now all connected due to the internet, due to these digital tools of communication. Free apps, accessible internet and devices, limited censorship. For the first time in history, we are all together. And for our voices to be heard, we must speak up. Together, we have the means to organize, to collaborate, to find common ground, to reimagine a society in a way that reflects our collective values, to imagine a society with stable, transparent, and evolving institutions. These solutions exist, as do the means to implement them. This can occur, and will only occur if we act together. If we can rise above our conflicts and have honest conversations. If we can find a way to compromise and coexist. This is an adult conversation. Imagine a world in harmony. We can create that from the bottom up with our own individual acts of harmony. Harmony, collaboration, compromise. These are underdeveloped skills in a consumeristic, capitalistic, market-based, militarized planet. If we can reimagine the foundations of society, we can build towers of progress into the sky. This can come and must come from every one of us. I believe in the spirit of humanity, the brotherhood and sisterhood we all share, the love for each other deep within. Follow your heart. I'll be back soon with more ideas. Keep thinking.